Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Jerry Cuomo. I'm here with another case. This is a Class 2 composite on tooth number 4. And today we're going to address something called the cavity configuration factor, or the C factor, when we do place a filling. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that we have completely isolated this side of the arch. Um, we placed a wedge additionally on the distal aspect of number 4, so we're going to go ahead and prep the DO. Now I like to use a fine diamond when I come in. And how's my focus? Good? Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to add a little bit of water here first. There we go. Okay. Have another mirror, please. Yeah, a little bit about the cavity configuration factor. There is definitely a polymerization shrinkage factor that occurs with every composite, and so there's some discussions about the distal box, or um, and how to fill it, and if there's vertical versus lateral curing, lateral condensation. I'm trying to give you my method here of paying attention to the walls, the various walls of the preparation as we move into our procedure. All right, so everything's good underneath? Okay, so first and foremost, I'm taking a fine diamond, and I'm going to go ahead and prep distal aspect of 4. And I'm going through the marginal ridge. And I put a wedge in place, so we'll prep down to the wedge and then we'll take a look and see where the decay is. So there's radiographic evidence of decay. There's the wedge. And the radiograph showed the decay well into dentin. Okay, so the problem is you can't see the radiograph from here. So again, and you can see how that enamel just flakes away and didn't touch the adjacent tooth at all. She's going to go ahead and rinse that off and dry it. Okay. I'm going to get my extension through the contact of number 3. And here we go. And a little different from traditional amalgam preparations, where you've got to reduce more tooth structures. So we're staying conservative and basically just producing a box. There is an old composite there. I'm going to go ahead and treat that as well and leave no stone unturned. Now I'm coming up against the axial wall, And I'm going to develop that a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and trial in a condenser. I'm just going to see how that goes into this area. Now, while we're getting that instrument, I'll take a perio probe, and I'm going to measure the depth. Okay, so we're about 3 millimeters in depth from the pulpal floor. And if I dry this off and just show you where I'm going to place my bonding light. So bonding light, small tip, it's going to go right here. Okay, and I'm not going to fill all of just the base of this. Now see, it's a little tight still. We have anything smaller than this? I'm just going to polish that a little bit. See all that white, and then there's brown up and next to into the dentin. So everybody says, well, let's treat it with fluoride. Well, I think once it reaches this point, you have to fill it. Okay, here's my condenser. Okay, and my action's going to be laterally up against this wall and this wall when I go to condense. So I'm just focusing more on a line angle now, internal rounded line angle. Keeping everything smooth. Okay. Evan, you're going to feel a little pressure, okay, a little vibration, all right? And then we're cleaning off the adjacent tooth. We'll do the scaler for that. Okay. All right. There we go. That's the outline. Let's get rid of the decay. I always ask for continuous water because this doesn't shoot water out on a tooth. So, okay, so now you see the white stuff's gone, right? That's the hypocalcified areas that everybody says, you know, that, oh, let's just treat it with fluoride, or let's just treat it with a chemical and see if that'll remineralize. Well, we tried everything, MI paste, you name it. It's into dentin. Air in the mirror. Okay, so now I'm getting rid of the brown stuff. Let's take a closer look so you know what that looks like. Move the patient down a little bit. Okay, put him back in focus. See how it's tunneling underneath now, right? A little bit. So you get in there, clean that out. Make sure it's up against the roof underneath. Air in the mirror. A little more water down in there. And I'm going to go laterally. And that should do that. And now I'm going to take the fine diamond and go one more time against the axial wall. Now someone also asked me about, you know, when do you put the Vitribond in place? You put it in now. You don't put it in after the bonding layer. You put it up against the tooth. You want it to work on the tooth, not on a resin layer. Right? So do it. Do it right. All right, air in the mirror. On the mirror, please. Thank you. Okay. Looks like we've got everything under control now. I'll take my scaler again. And we'll just clean that up. Okay. Now, before I put the band, let me get rid of that. There it comes. Hang on, that's just a smidgen. I get that. Before I isolate with my band, and I will isolate first with my band before I do anything, I'd like to place the Vitribond. And I'm going to do that as just a speck. I need to use a 1/2 quarter round burr And I'm going to get rid of that little stain. It's bothering me. You okay underneath? Yep. Okay. That was bothering me a little bit. Okay. Dry, please. Okay, so we're going to lower our light, and I'm going to place that bitumen. I'm going to bond that in first. Okay, he is isolated with the rubber dam. There is a wedge in place, and there's absolutely no sulcular fluids coming up. Plus, I'm looking with a microscope. I'm going to use my small end of my Explorer, which I have here. I like this end. It has a little hook on the end of it like that, and I can get down in there and get up underneath and put it right in against the axial wall. That's where it's going, nowhere else, just against the axial. And then I'm going to cure that for 20 seconds. That'll shut the door on any pulpal response issues. Not only that, but using a rubber dam. Okay, so I'm going to start it right there, drop it right up underneath the roof, and go right in and tack it in like that. Add a little movement, ready to cure that. And now again, I'm putting it right up against that to cure it. It's an LED, and it actually segmentally cures. It has a step curing to it, so it goes slow to high, slow to high. It's one of Demetron's best, and you're able to do that and help prevent the shrinkage factor. Okay, so that was our 20 seconds. Now the band's going to go in next because we want total isolation from any crevicular fluid. Okay, that's about the right size. I usually like to just custom make that a little bit. There we go. Put that in place. I'm going to just reduce the mag first and push it in place. Get really good isolation. Very important. You don't want any crevicular fluids whatsoever. Sulcular fluids are a no-no. Causes hydrolysis to occur at the surface of the bond itself, the resin itself. Don't want that. That little tab's bothering me, so I'm going to move that tiny little tab out of my way so I can visualize. Just about ready for the tine. Okay, it's in. Okay, here's the tine. You're going to feel a little pressure, all right? All right. I'm going to double check with an Explorer habit. I'm going to rinse that thoroughly. This is cavity cleanser, so this is something you can use. I don't know if they have it in Europe, but you can use this here in the US. Real simple. Concepsus, yeah. That's the brand name of it. And we put it on for 15 seconds and we rinse for 15. Hey, one step causes tooth to be less sensitive over time. So, all right. Now I'm going to go right into etching. Okay, so we're going to etch, this total etch, so I'm going to go right in according to the manufacturer, 15 seconds. And I'm ready to go ahead and rinse that. It's been 15. So we'll start our rinse. And we rinse for 15. Now we're just going to leave our suction on it, get rid of the suction, the pooling in the back. That's it. Get rid of all that pooling, making sure there's no hydrolysis anywhere. And she's just going to suction and vacuum over the tooth preparation. Okay. Now we're going to introduce our bonding agent. So it's slightly wet, the dentin. In fact, what I'll do is I don't want to desiccate. I don't want any collagen fibers to collapse microscopically. So I just add a little bit of air. There's no pooling of water whatsoever. And in goes my bonding agent. Now 3M wants us to scrub for 20 seconds on the dentin. And this preparation is very, very, very conservative. We're doing a really good job of keeping them isolated. Okay, now I'm going to thin it out as I don't want any pooling before I do my 20-second bond. Okay, 20-second bonding coming up. And we light cure that. Now you got a good seal, got your bond material in there. All we need to do now is place something called flowable, because I like a wetting agent in there before I start condensing the composite incrementally to prevent the C factor, or that cavity configuration factor that has been studied since 1987 from what I understand, and it's been revisited several times, probably still revisited. Now that's my flowable. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm going to spread it a little bit. That'll go up the side near the margin, right in with my smallest piece of material. I'm going to go right in there with the small condenser. This is a Hollenbeck. I'll push it in place gently up against the distal wall, which is metal. Distal wall is not part of the C factor, or is it? It's up against enamel and dentin. That's the C factor. So go laterally. Push and pull, push and pull. We're not going vertically here. We're staying horizontally. Use a Hollenbeck. Gets in there nicely. Take a close look. Okay, use a microscope. Don't do any guesswork out there. Get a microscope. Or get good loops and get something with magnification. Okay, so I like that. A little bit is up against this wall, a little bit against this wall, so that reduces the C factor tremendously. Okay, now cure it. Building in success. That's how you do it. Again, this light has an it cures in steps, so it starts low, goes up high. Get a little less issues about shrinkage. So it's a little more expensive to buy a machine like this, but it's worth it. Layering techniques are they're not easy, and they can be misunderstood. So now I'm way in there. I got to have that Hollenbeck again. Okay, I'm going to cure this another layer. It's going to go a little further deeper now. So in it goes. Now you can see how I didn't go in any way, shape, or form vertically when I was condensing that first one. I went laterally. I'll do it again. As much as you can. Now I'm just going to use the condenser just to go back in there, kind of tidy things up a little bit. You okay underneath? Okay. 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 Again, I'm just building the wall a little bit, so taking my time because it's a video, but I got to do it. I'm going to cure that again. Now I'm going to build the base and layers, and I might even use a perio probe to condense something even smaller. I use my gold instrument to condense. I haven't touched the occlusal where there's a huge documentation on C factor on the occlusal. So now I'm going to go in vertically, just slowly going in with increments. Pushing it in place. Condensing properly. Okay. Okay, so I'm going a little less, not filling it up as fast as I don't need to do that. Just can get rid of some of this excess. All right. Okay. And usually grab an Explorer at this point, get rid of some of that excess as it comes off the marginal ridge. I'll do another cure. Okay. Good enough. I'll do another cure. Now I'm going to build up the cuss tips. We'll do one cure for that and one cure for the other side to prevent that C factor from occurring. And supposedly, if you look occlusally, now you've got 4 walls, right? You got the pulpal floor, buccal wall, mesial wall, and buccal wall. So now I got to go in there and just come up with a Hollenbeck again. We'll do the buccal wall first. And literally just condense it in the shape of a V. I'm building up that wall first. Okay, overbuild it a little bit. Come over the margins a hair. Wipe. Okay, so that's in there now. I'm going to cure that. That's my buccal wall, buccal incline, and central groove. And I'm going to come across and do the lingual, and then we're done. I'm going to thank my patient for allowing me to make this broadcast because it takes some patience just to, go with the treatment, and you got to listen to me. Hopefully we're okay. Yep, he's shaking his head. Good. Okay, now I'm going to come up against, I'm going to drop some into that distal area, a little bit deficient there. I'm going to push some in there. I'm going to come up and push up against the lingual wall. Same instrument, Hollenbeck. Okay. Central wall. Explorer next. Got a little bit of overbuild up here. And I don't know what that is, but I'm going to fill that in. Transfer it. It's too much. It's hard to take off of this. There it goes. Just push it in there. It looks like a little dimple from where it's already been etched and primed. Okay. Not worried about the excess. I've gotten used to using carbide finishing burrs, which are recommended by the company to use them. And I will use the carbide finishing burr. They're special gold burrs that are made for finishing composites. Studies have been done under electron micrograph that show a nice polishability versus using a diamond. So we'll stick to that. I'm going to use actually a new one. So we get a nice new gold burr on there. Okay, while we're getting that, I'm going to take off the clamp. That's and incidentally, they're cured with the same light, identical. Okay, now I like to, just because I'm a little anal retentive on some of this stuff, I like to go ahead and pull back the sides of the band and just cure from the lateral aspect. I'm going to do a 20 from each side. Okay, I mean I can see from just viewing this with the microscope, which I totally recommend you getting, the well condensed area of the lateral aspect of each area of the box. I'm going to go lingual, I'm going to go buccal, and I'm looking at those specific areas where someone can say, well, you get recurrent microleakage or microleakage, and well, I got a very, very clean and isolated area preventing microleakage. Cotton plier. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the band and the wedge. Sometimes I got to use something a little bit stronger than here comes the wedge. I'll just sneak that one out first. And then a hemostat. Okay, hopefully this will do it. And you can see how that band came out nicely. Now I'll just go right ahead and start polishing. And if you want the names of any of this information, just please, about the equipment or materials, that is, not about my patient, equipment or materials, please feel free to write or call or send an email or put a comment on YouTube, whatever way you want to do it. I prefer emails. All set for suction here. So this is a fluted, I think it's it might be a 20 fluted burr, but I'm staying basically on composite, not gouging anywhere, and just starting to finish it down. And nice anatomy. I don't have anything that's going to catch food, cause issues. And I'll even take a scaler. I'm not gouging here, I'm just polishing lightly. It's a feather touch, by the way. Feather. Now I get my scaler. And I'm going to come up and down and just get rid of some of this excess stuff. And most of the time, it's that flowable that leaches out a little bit. And that means it's sealed. Okay. So I'm going to finish this up. I just want to say thank you for watching. And if you still have any doubt that this that the procedure is an issue. If there's any criticism, I'm open to anything. You have to say good or bad. Feel free. But 30 years experience of doing these, and haven't had any issues, and I am knocking on real wood. Take care, and we'll see you next time out there. Have a great day.